Imagine standing on the edge of Africa nearly 70,000 years ago. There are no roads, no maps, no GPS, no ships with engines, no airplanes, and no cities waiting in the distance. Only endless forests, scorching deserts, frozen mountains, and dangerous oceans filled with unknown creatures. Yet somehow, our ancestors managed to leave their homeland and spread across every continent on Earth. They reached the icy plains of Siberia, crossed into Australia long before modern ships existed, and eventually walked into North and South America. The question is almost unbelievable. How did ancient humans travel the world without modern technology? The answer is one of the greatest survival stories in human history. Scientists believe that modern humans, known as Homo sapiens, first evolved in Africa around 300,000 years ago. For thousands of generations, people lived by hunting animals, gathering plants, and following seasonal changes. Their lives depended entirely on understanding nature. They had no written language, but they possessed extraordinary observation skills. They learned to recognize the stars, animal migration routes, changing weather patterns, rivers, mountains, and edible plants. Nature itself became their map. Around 60,000 to 70,000 years ago, small groups of humans began leaving Africa in search of new opportunities. Population growth, changing climates, competition for food, and curiosity may all have encouraged these migrations. Instead of one massive journey, humanity spread through countless small movements over thousands of years. A family might move only a few kilometers during its lifetime, while their children moved a little farther, and their grandchildren continued the journey. Over hundreds of generations, these tiny steps carried humanity across the entire planet. Travel was unimaginably dangerous. Ancient humans faced predators like saber-toothed cats, giant hyenas, wolves, bears, and enormous reptiles. They crossed deserts where water was scarce and mountains where freezing temperatures threatened survival. Every journey carried the risk of starvation, disease, injury, or getting lost forever. Yet despite these dangers, humans possessed one remarkable advantage that changed everything: cooperation. Unlike many animals, humans could work together in large groups. They shared food, protected one another, cared for injured members, and passed knowledge from one generation to the next. If one person discovered a safe route, a water source, or an effective hunting technique, the entire group benefited. This ability to communicate and cooperate became humanity's greatest survival tool. One fascinating mystery involves Australia. Archaeological evidence suggests humans reached Australia at least 50,000 to 65,000 years ago. But even during periods of lower sea levels, they still had to cross stretches of open water. This means ancient humans were building simple boats or rafts far earlier than many people once believed. These vessels were likely made from logs, bamboo, reeds, or other natural materials. Although primitive by today's standards, they demonstrate remarkable creativity and engineering. As humans continued expanding into Europe and Asia, they encountered entirely new environments. Some regions were covered by dense forests, while others consisted of endless grasslands or frozen tundra. Rather than remaining the same, humans adapted. They created warmer clothing from animal skins, developed stronger tools from stone and bone, learned to control fire more effectively, and built temporary shelters suited to different climates. Adaptability became one of humanity's defining characteristics. One of the most extraordinary chapters in human migration occurred during the last ice age. Around 20,000 to 15,000 years ago, sea levels dropped significantly because enormous amounts of water were trapped in glaciers. This created a land bridge known as Beringia, connecting Siberia and Alaska. Small groups of hunter-gatherers gradually crossed this frozen landscape, unknowingly entering an entirely new continent. Over thousands of years, their descendants spread throughout North and South America, eventually reaching the southern tip of modern-day Chile. Without maps, how did ancient people know where to go? The answer lies in careful observation. They followed rivers because rivers provided fresh water, fish, and fertile land. They tracked migrating animals that served as food sources. Coastal regions also became natural travel routes because they offered seafood and reliable navigation. At night, many researchers believe early humans used the stars as orientation points, much like later sailors would do for centuries. Climate played a massive role in shaping human migration. During warmer periods, forests expanded, creating new opportunities for food. During colder periods, grasslands appeared, changing where animals lived. Droughts forced communities to search for fresh water, while floods or volcanic eruptions sometimes pushed entire populations into new territories. In many ways, humans didn't simply choose where to travel. Nature often made the decision for them. One of humanity's greatest strengths was curiosity. While survival remained the primary goal, curiosity encouraged exploration beyond familiar territory. Children asked questions. Hunters followed animal tracks into unknown lands. Families searched beyond the next mountain or river. This natural desire to explore helped humans discover new resources, safer environments, and better opportunities. Curiosity became one of the driving forces behind civilization itself. Ancient humans also relied heavily on storytelling. Long before books existed, knowledge was preserved through spoken traditions. Elders passed down information about dangerous animals, safe water sources, seasonal weather patterns, medicinal plants, and successful hunting grounds. These stories became survival manuals, carried not on paper, but within human memory. As thousands of years passed, different groups adapted to their local environments. People living in Arctic regions developed techniques for surviving freezing temperatures. Those near tropical forests learned about poisonous plants and medicinal herbs. Coastal communities became skilled fishermen and navigators, while mountain populations mastered life at high altitudes. Human diversity emerged not because people were fundamentally different, but because they adapted to different challenges. Modern science continues revealing incredible details about these journeys through archaeology, genetics, and fossil discoveries. Ancient DNA allows researchers to trace human migration routes across continents with astonishing accuracy. Stone tools, cave paintings, footprints, and ancient campsites provide clues about how our ancestors lived, traveled, and survived. Every new discovery adds another piece to humanity's remarkable story. Perhaps the most inspiring lesson from ancient human migration is that progress rarely happened through giant leaps. Instead, it occurred through countless small steps repeated over generations. No individual traveled across the world alone. Entire civilizations emerged because millions of ordinary people kept moving forward, adapting to change, solving problems, and refusing to give up despite overwhelming obstacles. Today, we can cross oceans in hours and navigate unfamiliar cities using a smartphone. It's easy to forget that every road, every nation, and every civilization exists because ancient humans first dared to step into the unknown. They possessed no advanced technology, no modern transportation, and no certainty about what lay ahead. Yet through intelligence, cooperation, courage, and curiosity, they accomplished one of the greatest journeys in history. The next time you look at a world map, remember this incredible truth. Every continent inhabited by humans tells the story of ancestors who walked, paddled, climbed, hunted, explored, and survived against impossible odds. Their footsteps connected the world long before roads ever existed. And without those courageous travelers, none of us would be here today.